Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Qamar Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Wednesday, the 13th of Rabiul Akhir 1444, corresponding with the English date 9th of November 2022. This Majlis took place at Baitul Azkar, the residence of Hazrat Wala in Wasiabad, Allahabad, UP, India. Hazrat Wala is discussing the personality Hazrat Shah Kalimullah Jahanabadi Rahimahullah. His name is Kalimullah. His father's name is Haji Nurullah and his grandfather's name is Ahmad Mi'mar Rahimahullah. His blessed birth was on the 24th of Jumadul Thaniya 1060 Hijri. His grandfather passed away 1 year before his birth. So Shah Sahib, his forefathers, they were Mi'mars. They were architects. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had chosen him to be the architect of the hearts, as stated by Azad. Shah Sahib himself writes in a letter which we understand that from there. So he was an architect of the heart. His education and training was undertaken on a very high level. He himself strove extremely hard in the early days for acquisition of knowledge. He remained fully occupied in acquiring knowledge during his youth until he reached a level of excellence. Now Sheikh Burhanuddin, known as Sheikh Bahlul Rahimahullah and Sheikh Abu Rada Al-Hindi Rahimahullah were from amongst his noteworthy teachers. Sheikh Bahlul was from the progeny of Sayyid Muhammad Gawth Gawalyari Rahimahullah. He was known from far and wide for his in-depth knowledge. Some of this here was written by Khaliq Ahmad Nizami. When Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib, Hazrat Wala is saying, went to Aligarh, and then he was informed about Khaliq Ahmad Nizami, and then he said, I will go and meet him. Even though some people said that, but he doesn't even have a beard. But Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib's focus was somewhere else. And he said, the work that he has done was tremendous. Now, after a very long time, I'm going through and reading of this particular personality, Hazrat Shah Karimullah Shah Jahanabadi Rahimahullah. When we read these, then at least we have some type of perception of our weakness and deficiency. And at that time, we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for tawfiq. Now, this Jahanabad is actually further, or rather when you even pass Fatehpur. So this life of reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Shah Kalimullah Sahib Rahimahullah was bestowed with an immense treasure of tawakkul, reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and contentment. He used to spend his days in hardship and difficulty. However, let alone not extending a begging hand to anyone, he would not even accept gifts and property title deeds of the kings. His character, Shah Sahib Rahimahullah had a very tolerant disposition with a pleasant temperament. If any person came to know of his displeasure, towards him, the person would write a letter of apology to him. Shah Sahib Rahimahullah would reply in a manner which was a living example of the following couplet of Momin. The couplet goes, Na rasai se dam ruke to ruke, मैं किसी से खफा नहीं होता. Your breath can stop if it wants over your displeasure. I am not displeased with anyone. I am not displeased with anyone. Thereafter, Hazrat Wala quotes the couplets of Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Partapgari. He used to say, Jaane Mohabbat, hai Jaane Mohabbat agar wo khafa hai. If he is upset, if he is displeased, the senior, the elder, the sheikh, the parent, then this is the essence of love. Agar hum khafa hai, mohabbat nahi. And if we are upset and displeased, then there is no love at all. You know, this couplet of Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Saheb was understood to be of a very high level in a nature. When I went to Maligaon, and somewhere along the line in the bayan or somewhere, I recited this couplet. And then I even went to rest, and some odd hour of the night, some shair came. This poet came along, and he came to ask, because he was so touched by those couplets, about this particular couplet, that the tarbiyat and upbringing, all of it is mentioned in this, and the relationship between the senior and the junior. Hai jaane muhabbat agar wo khafa hai. The essence of love is there and established if the senior, if he is upset or displeased or angry. Agar hum khafa hai, muhabbat nahi. And if we are displeased, then there is no love at all. So some letters of Hazrat Shah Sahib we would go through. The letters of Hazrat Shah Sahib rahimahullah are echoes of a restless and agitated heart. In every letter he would advise his murid to elevate the word of Allah, and he would call out, spend your life and wealth in this. Convey religious and worldly benefit to the world. Sacrifice your comfort and rest for humanity. Allahu Akbar. He was restless about conveying his concern for the Islamic community to every person. He would repeatedly say to his murids, endeavor to ensure the progress of Islam and the number of people who engage in Allah's dhikr to increase. That ensure this type of a progress. Although he wrote other points as well in his letters, he noted the following time and again. Continue striving to elevate the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and your objective must be that genuine Islam must spread from east to west. When he found people immersed in comforts and satisfaction of their desires, he would explain to them, "Oh friends, this world is not a place for the fulfillment of desires and ease." Allahu Akbar. At that point there, Hazrat Wala remarks there, and he comments, he says that the entire work we would be learning, the week we would be learning and teaching, etc., when it would come to Thursday night, and then we would be released then for our 1 day break for the entire week, and then we could carry on with the next week. One day, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib passed, and he seen us laughing and this and that and the other. And then he came and he said that every Thursday, I want you to write to me ittilai ahwal, inform me about your spiritual state. Now tell me, do you think that was some ordinary or simple thing to do? Most definitely not. It was extremely hard. When a person just goes to a physician or a doctor, he finds it so hard to actually explain to the doctor what's happening with him, what's troubling him, and what could be the root of the problem due to which the doctor can correctly diagnose and then fairly advise. So how much more difficult would it not be for a person to speak about his spiritual state? A person would come and he would say, I made so much of ibadat, I done this, I done that, I done the other. And then at the bottom of the letter, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to write, okay, that's your ibadat, but tell me, what about your akhlaq? and he would reduce that person completely. Allahu Akbar. So here, Hazrat Shah Sahib is speaking about emphasis on writing letters. Shah Sahib rahimahullah used to emphasize a lot on writing letters. It used to pain him if there was a delay in receiving a letter, and he would wait anxiously for it. He is waiting for a letter. He is anxious about it. He is pained about the delay of the letter. Now Hazrat Wala there writes that Hazrat Hakimul Ummah, Hazrat Tanvi rahimahullah, and Hazrat Muslihul Ummah, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah rahimahullah, used to strictly emphasize on their murids to inform them of their conditions, on their conditions. Now Shah Sahib rahimahullah used to write to a person, do not delay in sending letters. A letter is equal to a half meeting. If there is any excuse about letters from my side, it can be accepted and it can be heard. But if it is from your side, it is unacceptable and cannot be heard. Your letter of love has not come to me since a long time. My eyes are waiting anxiously. Shah Sahib rahimahullah did not want a murid to write a customary letter. Rather, he must provide full details about his spiritual condition and state, thoughts and distribution of his time, so that he could gauge in what activities his time was spent and to what extent he is occupied in the fulfillment of his responsibilities. Shah Sahib rahimahullah, with reference to those who do not adhere to a timetable, what did he say? The one who does not keep to his times has lost in this world and in the year after. He constantly emphasized keeping oneself occupied and busy. You must become more occupied in your work to such an extent that anyone who comes to you starts doing your work. Allahu Akbar. Hazrat Wala is saying that this is the Aqwal Salaf, biographies and statements of the pious predecessors. But it's not only Aqwal, in fact it is Ahwal as well, the spiritual states of the Buzrugs and pious predecessors. Some ulama have even mentioned that why don't you say Aqwal wa Ahwal Salaf? But then I thought to myself it will become too lengthy. You know, about 45 long years spent in compiling and working on this particular tasneef and this particular writing and this kitab, the Aqwal Salaf. I can say half my life. I'm 90 now, and about 45 years, and I have been doing work on this particular kitab. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of being firm on our path. And Allah ta'ala let it not be such that because of us, this path, the name of it becomes bad due to our misdoings. So the Aqwal Salaf, we read through it and these kitabs, at least there will be some, we will perceive a weakness, an incompletion, weakness on our side, and we'll have the tawfiq to make dua. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.